the first instance, this is an example of a candidate experience. As I say, this is completely customizable by you. You can make this look broadly however you like. You can customize the typography, the logos, the colors, all of the content. We have a nice drag and drop interface you can use to do that. You can have multiple pages. The whole thing is multilingual, and you can really kind of make this look and feel, as I say, however you want. We want this to feel like a consistent experience with the rest of your online brand and web properties, rather than this sort of very jarring kind of standard Pinpoint experience just with your logo chucked at the top. So again, you can do whatever you kind of want with this experience. If I jump into a job, just to give you an example of what this looks like from the candidate's perspective, right? So they come in, they can have a look at this example job description. We care a lot about putting rich media and other kind of typical content like that in your job descriptions. I think we process about 40,000 candidates a day. We've learned a lot from what candidates are expecting in today's recruitment market. Obviously, the candidate wields all the power, and we try and leverage some of our data and best practice insights to help you deliver a candidate experience that really converts. So in this example, we've kind of got high-level knowledge and skills and experience and a bit about the company and things like that. I think the two things that candidates tell us time and time again they want to see from a job application process that they don't see is these two things, right? This notion of a hiring manager profile and an overview of what the process looks like. So if we dig into these as an example, this is me and this is my example hiring manager profile. A candidate can learn what I do at the company and why I'm here and a bit more about me personally and my advice. They can see other jobs I'm currently recruiting for, connect with me, and so on and so forth. Obviously, not every organization wants to surface this stuff. Some people will have it be the hiring manager, some the recruiter, some just a figurehead within their business that's got a strong profile. The point really is we just want to put faces to names and make it easy for your candidates to engage. I think the second point is this overview of the hiring process itself, right? Candidates want to dig in and understand a bit more about what's expected of them through the process, how long it's going to take, what those disparate stages look like, and so on and so forth, right? The theme here is we're just trying to preemptively answer candidates' questions. I think our data shows that combining these two things at the job application stage increases conversion rates by about 60% on page. So it makes a huge, huge, huge difference. And candidates tell us time and time again, they love seeing this stuff. Once the candidates kind of engage with this content and decided that they wanted to apply for the job, they click apply now, they get to this form. This again is completely customizable by you, super easy to make this sort of reflect the information you want to gather from the candidate, and important to note that this can be different for every one of your roles, although obviously it's templated for convenience. In this example, we have kind of high-level contact information, CV and cover letter equivalent, and then a bunch of what we call pre-screening questions. So again, you can then filter within the product based on answers to these questions to make it really easy to get straight to the candidates that are a fit for the opportunity. We also care a great deal here at Pinpoint about diversity and inclusion. And so we have a lot of optional tooling throughout the product that I'll touch on today to support that. One example is these optional D&I questionnaires. So you can include these or not on each of your jobs. If you do include them, they're always optional for your candidates. And if I came in as a candidate, for example, and I said I'm a male and I'm 25 to 34, we'd store this data in aggregate behind the scenes and then allow you to report on it so you can identify trends and themes. But you wouldn't click on Tom, the candidate, and see that he's a man and that he's 25 to 34 or sort of any of these other protected characteristics, because we don't want to introduce unconscious bias into the process. So a really helpful way of helping you understand from a D&I perspective whether sourcing is your challenge, are you able to attract a diverse pool of applicants, or whether bias is your challenge, you are attracting a diverse pool of candidates, but you may be not hiring a diverse pool of people at the point of selection. So that's D&I. Obviously, we're based here in the UK, so we're fully GDPR compliant. We have a whole suite of tools, again, in support of that, and we'll touch on those as we go. But fundamentally, that is that. I think that the key themes here, again, are speed is of the essence, right? A lot of the data that we have tells us that if you ask your candidates to sign up for an account before they apply for your job, just under 70% of them won't do so, and you'll lose those before you've even started. And if your application process takes more than 5 minutes from start to finish, again, you're going to lose about 10% of your candidates every minute. On average, it takes just under 3 minutes for a candidate to apply for a role with Pinpoint. And again, important to note, you'll see this apply with LinkedIn button here. We have a whole bunch of integrations with third-party platforms like LinkedIn, Indeed, Glassdoor, Monster, Total Jobs, and so on, allowing candidates to one-click apply directly from those platforms and have their data pushed into Pinpoint, so they don't even need to leave Indeed when applying for mass jobs and so on and so forth. So all of these things really compound, and the idea here is we're just trying to make sure that the candidate experience reflects your brand, is easy to engage with, and just gets out of the way so that the candidate doesn't stop midway through the process. So that's an example of applying for a job. I think the other thing we'll quickly touch on before we move on, well, two things, is one, we try and encourage organizations that work with us to not think about recruitment as purely a reactive exercise, right? We want you to be thinking about recruitment proactively and looking at building a talent pipeline of people that you can reach out to when future opportunities arise. If I, the candidate, land on your career site experience and perhaps there isn't a job in this list that appeals to me, I can click register your interest. I can jump in here again. This form is completely customizable by you. I can provide some high level details and then I can select as a candidate the types of roles I'm interested in. So in this example, this is just a company in San Francisco, but this would obviously reflect your organizational hierarchy and we support multiple locations and all that good stuff. But hypothetically, maybe I'm interested in a sales or an operations role. I, the candidate, am now going to go into your talent pipeline, and within the product, we give you a kind of complete talent pipeline suite of tools to help you manage those candidates, proactively communicate with them, send them kind of employer branding and marketing materials, and so on and so forth. So we're not just helping you kind of build that talent pipeline, we want to make sure you're making best use of it as well. I want to give you a sort of brief overview of some of the ways we can help from a sourcing perspective. So we've already touched on our kind of great multilingual, native, fully branded candidate experience, and that's obviously one way we can increase conversion, especially if you're coming from more of a legacy system where that candidate experience isn't on point. I think secondly, we have a bunch of integrations with different platforms. So everything from things like social sharing to allow you to federate your jobs out to Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, and so on, through to things like QR codes, which seem niche. But if you're doing, for example, a recruitment event in Paris, you could create a QR code that goes on your stand. Your candidates can then scan that from your mobile app or whatever you're doing, and they can apply directly on their phone in seconds. But really importantly, your reporting is then correct, right? You can actually track how many people that you managed to get to apply for positions from that face-to-face event. We also have, for example, large retailers that will have these QR codes at the checkout tills in every one of their shops to get kind of passive candidates interested in applying for their roles, scanning and applying in seconds. So QR codes is a super useful tool. From an advertising perspective, we have a broad job board marketplace, and we sort of delineate this in two ways. We have what we call syndicated integrations, and we have what we call the marketplace. So for syndicated integrations, we integrate with all of the major platforms. Again, think LinkedIn, Indeed, Monster, Glassdoor, Total Jobs, ZipRecruiter, and so on. And you can configure Pinpoint such that whenever you create a job, your job is automatically synced up to your LinkedIn account or to your ZipRecruiter platform or whatever it is that you're doing. And that costs absolutely nothing. Obviously, you may have an agreement with LinkedIn, ZipRecruiter out already. So those are syndicated integrations and they can be set up in seconds. Beyond that, though, we also have our broader job board marketplace. Now, this is just a demo account, so we're just showing 88 examples here. But we have over 1,100 job board partners globally across almost all countries. And what that allows you to do is if you've got, for example, a design role and you were really looking to push that out, you might push that to LinkedIn, Monster, Indeed, but also Dribble is like a dedicated design recruitment platform. So you can push that out to Dribble and we can basically build a shopping cart of specific opportunities that we want to push out to. And then we can check that out here, pay for it all within Pinpoint, and that job will immediately be pushed out and all of the candidates will automatically be pulled back in. So we can centralize that entire experience for you and make it really easy to get your jobs in front of the right candidates. We not only have industry-specific job boards, we also have diversity-focused job boards, veteran-focused job boards, location-specific job boards, and so on and so forth. So a huge market to choose from. And important to note that it's never more expensive to buy on these platforms than it is from within Pinpoint. And for some of the larger platforms, we've negotiated bulk discounts because of our volume and we pass those on to you. So it might actually be cheaper to advertise through us than it would be direct. So that's the job board marketplace. And then we also have what we call the employee dashboard. So we have a full end-to-end employee dashboard that does two things fundamentally. One, it will produce a dedicated internal job board portal for you. And two, it will offer you a complete end-to-end referral management system. So to give you a sense of how this works, you can invite every member of your business into your employee dashboard. They then access that separately. So if I click in here to employee dashboard, they'll see a few things, right? They'll see an internal job board. Now this job board here, I've turned this on to show our external jobs as well, but we can filter this down to just internal opportunities. In this instance, I don't have any, but a lot of organizations will have a process whereby they create an internal job. They advertise that to their existing team, and obviously their team get email notifications and otherwise to tell them there's a new vacancy worth reviewing. And so they can use that to hide those jobs from the public and just show them internally and give your candidates internally an easy sort of talent mobility solution. You can also publish all of your jobs and then make it really easy for your candidates to come in and review those and apply. And we also offer a referral management portal. So within the system, when you create roles, you can designate referral rewards for those roles. So we can see here we have test job 3, and I can give my internal people a kind of high level overview about that and see what the information is and get links to it. And they can also go and see what's on offer. So here we're offering £2,000 for this, and we've given the candidate or the internal employee some information about the type of person we're looking for. And each individual member of your team gets their own unique referral link, and they can use that to send this out to their friends or family or their broader network. And they then get this sort of referrals dashboard they can use to track this, so they can see any of the candidates that they've referred and their sort of progress through the system. And we get like a little leaderboard so they can see how many people they've referred, how much money they've earned from their referral scheme, and so on. And then within the tool, you as a sort of main admin team or centralized recruitment function get a referrals portal that you can use to track who you owe commission to and who there is going through the process and set that all up and everything like that. So as you can see, there's lots and lots of ways that we can help you source and help you get more of the right candidates as well. I think finally, we work a lot with organizations that leverage external recruitment partners, either RPOs or agencies and things like that. Obviously, you can manage your own team and you can have an unlimited number of employees on all of our pricing plans. But you can click in here to external recruiters and you can invite your external recruitment partners into Pinpoint as well. You can then restrict which roles they can see, and they can manually add candidates into your platform. They'll only ever see candidates they've added.